today's class will be an easy flow class. So we want to loosen up just the whole body and also remove all negative thoughts that we may have, right? And it's the theme of easy like Sunday morning. So you know that song? I love that song. In fact, I'm going to listen to it after the class. So just pay attention if you have any injuries going on or if you're still fairly new to yoga. Please don't push it too much. You can always stick to variation number 1. I always announce variation 1, 2, 3. So feel free to just stick with variation number 1 or even go into child's pose. Donc vous pouvez toujours aller dans la position de l'enfant. Si c'est trop, on va progresser lentement. So there's really a pose for everybody. Okay, let's get started. So you can sit on pillows, flat pillows, or you can also sit on a block. And we go into a cross-legged position. Make sure it's comfortable. So you can cross on the shins, or you can also place one foot in front of the other. Of course, if you have a lotus practice, feel free to go into lotus. And then just take a moment to settle down. Maybe you need to move a little bit, doesn't have to be static. Just make sure you can ground through the sitting bones. You want to lift your chest and you want to relax the shoulders back. Et gentiment fermer les yeux. Take a moment to settle in. If you want, take a moment to dedicate this practice to something very important to you. It could be another person, it can be a subject, or simply yourself. So take a time out from your day. Et commencez à approfondir la respiration. See if you can slow down the breath. Deep inhale through the nose and deep exhale through the nose. Relax your face. Relâchez la mâchoire. Relâchez le front. Make sure you're not biting your teeth. Always keep some space between the upper and lower teeth. And with every inhalation, think about expanding and lengthening. And with every exhalation, think about softening and releasing toxins, physical and mentally. And we're going to start with some slow motion, slow moves. So with your inhale, circle the arms towards the sky. And with your exhale, lean over to your left side. So take your left hand down and reach up and over with your right arm. Create a lot of space on the right side of your torso. Étirez bien le flanc droit. And then come back to the middle and go to the other side. Pay attention to your left sitting bone. Keep it grounded as you hinge over to the right side. Long and deep inhale, go to the other side. We're going to do this a little bit more dynamic. And then again, switch sides. Keep your breath fluid. And one more time, other side, maybe come down onto your forearm. And then one more time, right side. Good, come back to the middle. Reach up with your arms, and we take a nice forward fold. So come onto your fingertips, or maybe all the way down onto your forearms, or all the way down onto your heart. Make sure you relax your head. Breathe into the belly. When you inhale fully all the way down.
And when you exhale, release all the air. Good. Inhale. Lift up the upper body. Roll your shoulders back and down. And then gently open up the eyes. Good. Let's go into all fours. Starting to move, easy. So make sure you're comfortable. Have your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. If you don't have a mat or your mat is really thin, you can always double the mat, or you can place simply a towel or something underneath your knees. You're going to mobilize the spine first. So with your inhale, lift up the tailbone, belly drops, chest reaches forward. Exhale, start to round your spine, starting from the pelvis upwards, navel in. Inspirez, levez le coccyx, le ventre en bas, poitrine vers l'avant. Expirez, arrondissez le dos, regardez vers le nombril. One more time. Inhale to open up the front side of your body. Move your biceps forward. And with your exhale, round your spine. Make sure your head is always following the rest of the spine. And then come into a neutral position. Good. You're going to warm up the back side of the legs. So keep a nice bend in your right knee, but lift the foot towards the sky and flex the foot. So when you look back, you can see that you could make an imprint of the sole of the foot into the ceiling. Good. Hold it steady and strong, and make sure you don't collapse here. So you want to keep also the midsection strong. Pull your navel in. Good. And we're going to start rounding again. With your exhale, draw the knee into the chest. Round your spine. Press the midsection up. Inhale again, lengthen. Keep a nice bend in your knee so you feel the hamstring on fire. And with your exhale, round your spine. Maybe you can give a little kiss to your knee or just touch with your nose. Inhale, lift up. And last time with your exhale, round again. Move slow in control. Inhale, this time extend your leg. And we're going to balance. So open up the hip. The right hip is on top of the left. Come onto the fingertips. And then maybe you can lift up your right arm. Keep your back leg, your right leg, super strong. Pull your navel in. Good, and then gently release. Come back onto all fours and just sway your hips from side to side. And we do the other side. So steady in your base. And then lift up your left knee. Nice flex in the foot. You can even look back to make sure it's nicely flexed. Pull your navel in. So we have a tendency sometimes to overarch. This is really bad for the lower back. Make sure you hold this steady so it's doing you good and not bad. Good. Hold it here strong. Feel the burn. Breathe steadily and smoothly. And we're going to round. So with your exhale, draw your knee towards the chest. Maybe you can round more and really go with your knee towards the nose. And then again, inhale, opening up. Exhale again, round. Inhale to open up. And one more time. Exhale, round. Long and deep inhale. This time extend your leg. Open up the left hip on top of the right. So variation 1, just stay here with the fingertips down. Variation 2, maybe you can extend your left arm on top of your right as if it was an extension of your right arm. Opening up the collarbone. And then gently release. And just shift your hips from side to side. Good. So if you don't know what a child's pose is, let's do a child's pose. So keep your knees super wide. They can even be as wide as the mat. The big toes touch, and then simply release. Forehead to the ground. Take a moment here. If you have knee issues, feel free to place something in between so it's a little bit softer on your knees. Otherwise, just release and breathe in and out. Create a lot of space in the lower back. Good. Gently come back onto all fours. And we go into the first downward facing dog. So curl your toes under and then lift up the hips. And at the same time, press your hips back as if you want to go with your chest onto your knees. So keep a nice bend in your knees for now. You can even breathe into the belly and feel the belly maybe on your thighs. Now gently lower down your right heel. And then lift up onto the tippy toes. And then lower down your left heel. Lift up onto the tippy toes. Lower down your right heel. Combine this with your breath. Inhale to lift up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, lower down your left heel. Inhale, lift up, come onto the tippy toes. Expirez, baissez le talon droite. Inspirez sur les pointes. Expirez, baissez le talon gauche. Good, and then come back onto the tippy toes. Bend your knees a lot. Press the inner thighs back, create some space between the sitting bones. And then maybe you can lower down both heels. If you have a tendency to round here, then keep a nice bend in your knees. Otherwise, like an inverted V shape. And of course, the heels may not touch the ground yet because you might still be a little bit rigid and stiff from sleeping, from the week. So don't worry, you're gonna get there later. So take some small steps forward. Stroll forward all the way and then just sway from side to side, loosen up. Make sure your neck is nice and long. And then gently roll up the spine. Les épaules et la tête en dernier. Déroulez le dos. Good. And we are on the front side of the mat. We're going to start flowing. So with your inhale, circle the arms to the sky. Exhale, dive forward. Take your fingertips to the ground and step back with your right foot. Gently lower down the knee. You can pat something underneath. Also, press the top of the foot into the ground. And with your inhale, lift up the arms. Exhale to settle down. Good. Now bend your right elbow. And with your left hand, you can grab the elbow and place it a little bit more towards the middle. So really like a straight line up to the sky. And then you can lean over to the left side. So we want to open up all this right side of the torso. Creating a lot of space, but keep pulling your navel in. So you don't overarch here. You really want to keep this quite active. Good. And now take your right hand down to the floor. If you want, you can make it more intense by opening up the knee to the side. And the outer edge of the left foot is about 45 degrees. Good. If you want to add on, feel free to bend your right leg and then grab the foot. And then roll your shoulder backwards. Good. So you have a nice stretch in your quadriceps and an opening in your hip. Just breathe here. And then let go of your foot. Frame the front foot. We're going to simply straighten the front leg. So you might maybe flex the foot, Keep it super straight. If you need to bend it a little bit, don't worry about it. Good. And then with your exhale, just hinge over. This is a nice opening for your hamstring. If you're sitting a lot or if you are a runner, this is a really great exercise. Breathe into it. If you want to balance, you can also have your hands around your foot and really just surrender to your knee. And then slowly frame the front foot. Step back into plank and hold the plank for a moment. So press through the heels back, pubic bone forward, and keep your shoulder blades wide. Breathe. Make sure you're not biting those teeth. And with your exhale, drop the knees. Long inhale. Exhale. Keep your elbows close to the body. Shoulders are back down the back. And then come all the way down onto the floor. Take the tops of the feet onto the ground. Elbows in. Inhale, come into a mini cobra. Keep your legs engaged. Exhale, lower down. Long and deep inhale takes you up. Long and deep exhale takes you down. One more time. Deep inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Okay, with your inhale, come back into cobra. Bend your knees. Let's go back into child's pose. Position de l'enfant. Relâchez complètement les épaules, le front. Respirez profondément dans le ventre. And slowly find your way back into downward facing dog. Chien tête en bas. Poussez les cuisses intérieures vers l'arrière. Engagez les quadriceps. Le même poids sur les mains et sur les pieds. Écartez bien les doigts et poussez tous les coussinets dans le sol. Good. Now take mini steps forward and just sway from side to side. Good. Gentiment déroulez le dos. Roll the spine up. Good. Take a moment here, maybe close your eyes. And feel the change, the shift. Body is opening up, it's getting stronger. It's getting more and more energetic. With your inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. With your exhale, dive forward. Toujours avec le dos plat. Les pointes sur le sol. Et puis un grand pas avec le pied gauche en arrière. Baissez le genou. And come up. Lift up the torso. Opening up the left hip flexor. And feel free to have your back foot straight on the floor. That way you have a nice stretch on your top of the foot as well. And then bend your left elbow, grab the elbow, and then reach up and over to the right side. So you create a nice opening on the left side of the torso. And just breathe here. Try to soften. Good. Gently release. Take your left hand down. And then you can open up, if you want, the right foot onto the outer edge of the right foot. And then simply, either simple twist, or if you want, bend your left knee and grab the foot. And once you have it, make sure your right shoulder goes back and down. So you want to open up the chest. And just breathe here, easy. Good, and then slowly release. And we're going to straighten the front leg. Sometimes you need to adjust, so feel free to crawl forward with your right foot.
And then create a lot of length in the torso. Hinge at the hip crease, keep it long, and just hinge over your right leg. If you want, you can balance. Make sure it's comfortable, so maybe stay on the fingertips, do whatever makes you feel at ease. This is the good thing in the videos, because there's for sure nobody watching you. So you can just pause the video, you can do it on your own pace. At least when you watch it on YouTube. Good. And then gently frame the front foot. And then step back into plank. Walk the feet together this time. If you need to adjust, bend your knees. Otherwise, stay here and slowly lower down the left hip towards the floor. And then roll over the tippy toes, so really feel them. And go to the right side. So it's all about discovering new body parts. Your tippy toes, roll to the other side again. One more time. Gonna switch the sides. Feel the oblique muscles. And then last time, rolling to the left and rolling to the right. And make sure when there's more effort, don't bite your teeth. And then gently just bend your knees. Take a child's pose. Long and deep inhale. And long and deep exhale. One more time, deep inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, come back onto all fours. And with your exhale, find your way back into downward facing dog. Good, and you're gonna see by now, maybe your heels can reach more towards the ground. With your inhale, lift up your right leg. With your exhale, draw the knee into the chest, close to the body. Inhale again, extend your leg back. Exhale, knee to the chest, super close. Inhale to extend. We do this one more time. Exhale, knee to the chest, press into the hands, large between the shoulder blades. Inhale, extend. And now open up the hip. You can also for now open up the shoulder. And maybe lower down the left heel. Strong in your right leg. So it's like a nice line starting from the right index finger into your right ball of the foot. Good, and then release. Let's do the other side. Deep inhale takes you up with your left leg. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, creating some fire, inner fire. Inhale, extend your leg back. Exhale one more time. Knee to the chest, maybe you can even give a kiss. Inhale to extend. Exhale one more time, knee towards the chest, create a lot of space. Inhale, extend. Open up the hip, maybe open up the shoulder. Nice line at the same time. You want to reach with your right heel down to the floor. Pressing back and up. Good, and then release. If you need a break, go into child's pose, or maybe float through a vinyasa. Good. We're all gonna meet in down dog. We're gonna add on. So with your inhale, lift up your right leg. Exhale. Draw the knee into the chest, lightly step the foot in between. So maybe come onto the fingertips, you have more space. And then root down, rise up, come into a high lunge. Good, opening up the chest, opening up the left hip flexor. Good. Now we're gonna lower down the left hand to the floor. And reach up with your right arm, add a little nice twist. Good. If you want, you can drop
the back knee. Otherwise, with a straight leg, strong, lift up your left hand forward, right arm back. You can even look back towards your right hand. Just make sure you're not leaning too much over. You want to keep the shoulders stacked over your hips. Good. Long and deep inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. And with your exhale, frame the front foot and cycle through Vinyasa. If you want to skip it. And we just meet in downward facing dog. Good. We do the other side. So with your inhale, no rush, just extend your left leg. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest and lightly step the foot in between. Good. Take your time and lift up the upper body. If you need to bend your right knee, do so. Otherwise, hold it here. Good, and then gently lower down your right hand. Open up to the left. And then see if you can keep your left hip in line with the knee. So not sticking out to one side. And then gently just lift up the upper body. Steady in your lower body so you can be free in the spine. And maybe you can challenge by looking back. Don't forget to breathe. Continuez toujours à respirer. Hold the pose, not the breath. And then simply lift up both arms to the sky to open up. And with your exhale, frame the front foot. If you want, add a vinyasa. Or simply rest in child's pose or downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths. Good. Take a long and deep inhale. Lift up your right leg. Exhale, step the foot in between. Open up the back foot, 90 degrees. And we draw a big circle with the left arm, leading forward, up, settle down in Warrior 2, Guerrier 2. So make sure you open up the hips, your back leg is strong, and you have a nice bend in your front knee. The knee is in line with the midline of the foot. Make sure you don't go into the war, so you want to keep your center, so the shoulders are stacked over your hips. Good. Inhale, flip the front palm, lift up the arm, left hand down. Good. You can place it lightly on your back leg. Make sure the knee doesn't fall inward. So keep your knee in the same spot like before. Good. Then gently place your elbow on top of your knee and reach with your left arm forward over your head. At the same time, try not to collapse here. You want to open up the chest. A strong line starting from your left toes towards the fingertips. Stretching out the left side. Good, and then gently frame the front foot. If you want, you can lift up the leg one more time into a three-legged dog. And from here, with your leg up, when you lower down, cycle through Vinyasa. Good, other side. Inhale, lift up your left leg. Exhale, step the foot in between. Prepare for Warrior 2. So the heels are in line. And then slowly, right arm forward and up. Settle down for Warrior 2. Ouvrez la hanche. Poussez la cuisse intérieure vers l'arrière. Et gardez le genou en ligne avec le pied. Stretch out your arms. Reverse, opening up the left arm, right hand down. Breathe into the front rib cage. And then slowly take your left elbow onto your leg and reach forward. And twist it open. So you always want to show the chest to the sky. Keep your toes relaxed. Keep your face relaxed. Don't waste energy. Only use the muscles you really need to use. But those, use them. Good. And then gently both hands down. If you want, one more time. Down dog split. Either take a child's pose or, if you're up for it, cycle through vinyasa. Always pay attention to bend your elbows close to the body. And then reunite the feet. Inhale to open up the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Make sure you're relaxed in your neck. Good. Gently with your inhale, lift up your right leg. Exhale, step the foot in between your hands. First, open up the left foot 90 degrees. Walk your hands to the middle. And then turn your right foot also 90 degrees. And then take a super wide stand. Good. If you need a block, grab a block or a book. Place it underneath your nose. And then place your right hand on top of that book. Lengthen the spine. So pay attention not to lean back. You want to keep it nice and steady. And then extend your left arm to the sky. So it's like this peace symbol. Good. Keep your inner thighs active so you can see the difference. I'm wobbly if I don't engage. Once I engage, I'm super strong. And then switch the sides. Take your left hand down. Lengthen first and then twist from the navel upwards. And then take both hands down. Now, move your toes about 45 degrees. Bend your right knee. And then pick up your left toes. If you can, stay here. If you need to be higher, feel free to stay high. Good. And then we go to the other side. The left foot 45 degrees. Maybe lift up your right toes. And we switch the sides one more time. This is great for your mobility in the hips. Keep it active. Keep it juicy. And then change one more time. Good. And one more time back. Good. And then gently just turn your right foot again, 45 degrees, 90 degrees actually. And then roll onto the ball of the foot. Step back, come back into downward facing dog. This last dog is very happy, so you can do a happy Sunday morning dog. Just wag with your tail to the left and to the right. Move your hips a little bit. Good. And then roll forward into plank. We want to do one more proper upward facing dog. So basically first just drop the knees to the floor and the tops of the feet are straight back. And now lower down your hips and press your chest gently forward. Make sure you're not collapsing with your ears down or with your shoulders up. You want to move your shoulders back and down and then opening up the chest. And maybe you can lift the kneecaps off the floor. Hold it here. This is also a great stretch for the whole front side of the body, the hip flexors, the tummy, in case you do a lot of core work these days. So stretch it out again. And then gently come back into child's pose. A nice counter position, surrendering position to release and soften. And then walk with your hands to the left side, even beyond the edge of the mat. You can gently move your pelvis to the right, so you feel a nice opening over the right side. And then move your hands all the way to the other side, beyond the edge of the mat. And maybe take your pelvis slightly to the left, so you feel the opening on the left side. Completely relax your neck and head. And just breathe, simply be. And then come back to the middle. And we come back onto all fours. Happy puppy pose. You're gonna walk the hands forward and then simply lower down the chest. And you can land softly on your chin. If you have any neck issues, I recommend to stay on your forehead. If you're super flexible, go ahead and place your chest on the floor. Just pay attention that your hips are still above your knees. And then just surrender here. A nice stretch over your chest, the arms. And then gently press into your hands. Walk back. And then sit on one side and swing your legs forward. And then place the feet on the front side of the mat. And we want to stretch out those glutes a little bit. So I'm going to face the camera. Take your left foot on top of your right knee and then flex the foot. Make sure you protect the knee by really flexing the foot and the toes are facing the knee. And then keep your hands on the sides or slightly backwards and make sure you don't slouch. So you want to not roll inward. You want to lift up the chest and keep your shoulders back and down. Good, and you should feel this nicely in your left glute. If you don't feel anything, then move closer with your right foot. And imagine the knee goes to the side and forward. And just breathe. Not much to do. Always come back to your breath, especially when there is not much going on around. And you start thinking, just come back to the breath. Listen to the sound of your own breath. And we have a little transition here. So face your fingers, point your fingers towards your foot, and then lift up the bum. And maybe you can extend the leg. And try to keep it lifted. So try not to slouch down, and then slowly come back down. Now we do the other side. So place your foot on top, the other foot. And again, I like to stay on the fingertips and roll your shoulders back. Flex the foot and stay lifted. So we have a tendency to slouch. Keep it open. Breathe into the stretch. And if it's very painful, stay a little bit longer. This is usually good pain. As long as it's not in your knee, it's good pain. The pain in the glute from all the sitting. Good, and then face your fingertips towards your front foot, and then lift up tall as you can, like a tabletop. Maybe extend your leg. Breathe here, in and out. And then gently release all the way down. Good. And then roll all the way down onto the floor. Make sure you're breathing in the transition as well. And then give yourself a hug and just roll from side to side. Good, and we add a happy baby. So from happy dogs to happy babies. Open up the knees to the sides and then either just grab your shins or maybe go for the outer edges of the feet. And then try not to lift up the bum. So basically the pelvis releases down into the ground. And move your feet directly above your knees. And then instead of pulling too much with your hands into the feet, maybe press your feet into the fingers so you feel the releasing of the lower back into the ground. And then maybe just rock your baby from side to side. Good, and then close the knees. Drop the knees to your right side on the same height like the belly button. And try to keep your left shoulder on the floor. So if this is too hard, then grab a book or something or a pillow. So it's a little bit more space available, and then it's easier to release your left shoulder on the ground. And then just surrender to the floor. Good, and then roll to the other side. Relaxing your right shoulder, grounding down. And then come back to the middle. And simply lift up the feet, lift up the arms. And this should be very much at ease, so not much effort. That means you can bend your knees a little bit and imagine your shoulders are heavy in the floor. So as if you're suspended. Comme si vous étiez suspendu, très léger. Peut-être fermer les yeux. And then slowly come into Savasana. If you feel like you want to still open up the hips a little bit, feel free to have the soles of the feet together and do a Savasana like this. And of course, you can also have your hands, one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. So whatever feels good to you. And as always, feel free to stay longer in this position or come with me and just extend your arms behind your head. Maybe move a little bit. Just do some yawning. And gently bend your knees. Drop your knees onto your favorite side and come into a fetal position, position fœtus. La tête lourde. Allow the body to be heavy and just surrender to the ground. And then And slowly just press into one hand and come back into a seated position of your choice. Keep your eyes still closed. And if you need more grounding, keep your palms facing down. If you need more inspiration, maybe open them up to the sky. And then reunite the palms in front of your heart. And maybe come back to your dedication from the beginning. If you chose to dedicate it to yourself, then thank yourself for taking this time out and practice yoga. The light within me honors the light within you. Or in just one word, namaste. Namaste, namaste, namaste on all 3 channels.